My wife often asks me, what are you doing at 2 a.m.? I'm coding useless stuff, of course. By the way, my wife gave me this Apple Watch for my birthday, and I should code something for it. What kind of app could I do? Scalp trading terminal, and I'll try building that with AI. Last night I spent more than an hour trying to build this app, and when I rewatched it, probably it would be the most boring thing you ever see, so I decided to make a recap and I'll go through the most interesting moments. For those who don't know how Scalping Trading Terminal looks like, it looks like this. You have prices, order book or DOM, and not that DOM from web development, depth of market. On the right side, and trades that are drawn as bubbles that's going from right to left. I used Xcode and Cursor AI. So Xcode, we're gonna use it to see live previews, and Cursor AI we use to generate all the code. I start with a simple prompt and it's made some code, and initially it used just some dummy data, and I used to use real data from API, from Binance API. One note here that it used polling initially, and then I asked to use WebSocket. At some iteration I had this result, so I had prices on the right side and bubbles on the left, but like everything was messed up. Several tries after, I finally got trades on the right side and bubbles on the left side. For some reason I told to make bubbles go from left to right while it should be from right to left. I fixed that later. So when I get some visible results that looked fine, I spent some time trying to figure out the data is correct, and there were still some difference between them two, but it was fine for the test. I made some minor changes in design, etc, etc. At the end, finally I got something that looked that it's working somehow right. It still was not correct. There were still some issues, but I spent more than an hour, and it was like 3 a.m. or quarter past 3, so I decided that's fine and enough. Every time I used just the Apple Watch simulator. Next day I woke up and I wanted to test that on my real Apple Watch. I press run in Xcode and it showed nothing. In console, I saw that error message: C1 stream.binance.com, waiting parent flow unsatisfied, path was denied by NECP policy. I spent some time googling that. I opened this tech note from Apple, so it's TN3135, low-level networking on watchOS, and it says that watchOS groups networking into two categories: high-level networking, this includes HTTP and HTTPS, support and URL session, and any code layered on top of that, and low-level networking. This includes network framework and a stream, blah 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 blah, and URL session WebSocket task. URL session WebSocket task is actually something that I use. I mean, something that Cursor AI used, and maybe that was why initially Cursor AI used polling instead of getting data from WebSocket. Let's continue. WatchOS allows the apps to use high-level networking equally. However, it only allows an app to use low-level networking under specific circumstances. And it's just like an audio streaming, voice over IP, or a connection between WatchOS and tvOS. In all other cases, like in mine, like getting data from WebSocket, WatchOS blocks low-level networking. I spent like 2 hours all in all to get this done. It was my first experience making something not coding at all. I just used prompt-based coding, and that was my first video. See you.